What's up, everybody? Hello there. Hello and welcome. Alright, quick sound check and a couple of disclaimers and what have you. I think we're good. Are you guys picking me up? Can you hear me? Can you hear the music? Is everything all good on your end? I can see we've got a few familiar faces in the building at the moment. Heads up, Ghoul Games as well. Ghoul Games is here. Step, I expected to see you. Puppy is here. Puppy says, hi Gemini, how are you? I don't know if I'll be able to tune in live, so I'll pre-put this here. Made a thread on Twitter about the significance of holding hands in... Oh, that's nice. Oh, that'll be interesting to read as well, Puppy. Countercurse, we agreed to do another stream. Yes, indeed. It is very, very unusual that I would stream 2 days in a row. It doesn't happen, but I did run out of time yesterday. I don't have a lot of time today, so quick disclaimer, it's not going to be a super long one. We're not going to be sitting here chilling for like 3 hours like we normally are. Yeah, I'm glad you guys can hear me. Fantastic. Thank you. Muttersteak Abyss, Nikki Gibbs, Andrew Good Guy. What's up, Andrew? How you doing? How's Scrap? Zachary is in the building again. Welcome back. I'm glad to see I didn't scare you away with my voice and my face last time you were here. Ali YouTube Poop. Great name. Alison is in the building as well. Hello, Cheeky. It's good to see you. Silver Storm. Glad you can hear me. Hopefully it's not too loud. Doorknob. What's up, Doorknob? What's up, Doorknob? How you doing? And yeah, also, you guys are also today being subjected to the lesser seen gym shirt Gemini, because all of my recording clothing is hot. It's like hoodies and jackets and zip-ups and things like that. It's all very, very warm. I only actually have one shirt, and I wore that yesterday. And I'm not going to wear the same shirt 2 days in a row, and it was sweaty as hell. So today you've got gym shirt Gemini. So... sorry. I do have more shirts coming, hopefully soon, but the delivery system in the UK is an absolute nightmare, so forgive me for that. I probably look really unusual to everyone today, but I hope everyone's doing alright, and welcome, foolish mortals, to a random live stream where we're going to get back into what we were doing yesterday, which is combing through Little Nightmares 3 and pretty much everything that the showcase had to offer. Also, Step has left us a Canva presentation, which I've got up on my screen. You guys can't see it at the moment, but I'm going to read through that with you guys. I haven't read it yet myself. I've got some ideas of what to expect because I've talked to Step and members of their community recently, but we are going to get into that in a little while. But first, I just want to say hello to some of you guys and let people come in. And of course, I have a nice cold, ice cold summertime beverage to see me through. We've got Cherry Coke Zero, which is the same as yesterday. Same as I usually have, in fact, because Cherry Coke Zero is my current favourite beverage. Altac, what's up? It's great to see so many members in the building as well. What's up, Altac? How you doing? Hope you're alright. A&H is back. Welcome back. How you doing? Al Simmons Hellspawn. Do you think Alone will be as powerful as Mono, who can warp reality, bend space-time, and control energy? No, I don't think she's going to be as powerful as Mono. In fact, Alone has probably exhibited the least, like, magical properties out of all of the children that we've come across so far, isn't it? At least the main ones. So, like, we know Six has power, at least now, after she absorbed the ladies. We know Mono has power, and we know Lo has power, because we see him traverse the mirrors, but we haven't seen Alone do anything particularly special. She looks very special. I think she's amazing, but I don't think she has any kind of powers or anything like that. At least not yet, but we don't know anything about Alone just yet, do we? And that's not to say she's without capability either, because the Runaway Kid was without magic powers as far as we were able to see. And he did alright for himself. Kinda. What's up, Abyss? How you doing? According to the Discord server, there are canonically flying leeches. Oh my days, that would be absolutely petrifying. You know, I know that there was an idea in the early presentations to have leeches with legs. In fact, some of the leeches, I think the leeches with legs actually make an appearance in the 2017 comics. What's up, Gabriel Jones? How are you doing? Shirt's tough though, thank you. I saw someone drunk driving a go-kart today. Who did you see drunk drive? Also, I'm very tired. As you might gather, I'm very, very tired today because after the stream yesterday, I had work. And I worked all the way through until about 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I got about an hour and a half sleep before I got a phone call saying, is there any chance I can do more work? And I'm like, okay, yeah, yes, so, okay. So I got up and I did more work, and I only finished that an hour ago. But I did get to go see my mum today, which was lovely, and I told her all the wonderful things that you guys said yesterday, and I showed her the kind words and the donations and everything. She's very, very grateful, and she was adamant that I say hello to everyone and thank you so much for all of your generosity, all of your kind words, and all of your prayers and thoughts and everything else that you've put towards it, and all the love you've shown to Mama Gem. She is very, very grateful, and she wanted me, under no uncertain circumstances, to tell you guys that. So, there you go. I told you. Are you happy now, mother? Because she's very adamant about it. So she's like, you tell them people. And I was like, I will, ma, I will. I promise I'll tell you. You don't pipe up to Mama Gem. Never, ever pipe up to Mama Gem. But she's soft. She's just like a marshmallow person. Bro, if I had a nickel for every time someone brings up scrap when I appear, I've got $20. It's not a lot, but still, yeah, it's still like, what we're talking there, like 20, like 2,000? Yeah, 2,000 times. Give or take. Can't really do the math. Donald, may I draw you? Yes, please do draw me. Draw me in any manner you seem to see fit. Draw me in any way, and share it with me as well. Like put it in the Discord. Like put it in Discord servers. Send it to me via email. Send it to me on Discord if you can find me. But yeah, I'd love to see that. Please feel free. If any of you guys want to draw me, please do. I don't know why anyone would want to draw me, but feel free. You're more than welcome. Mono, can you do a backflip? Yes, I can do a backflip. So I used to do parkour. It started out as I was a martial artist. I was a martial artist for years. I got pretty good. Like I got to a level where I could fight in competitions and things like that. And I really, really was inspired to do martial arts by, you know, your typical suspect, you know, Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, all that kind of thing. So, you know, I was trying to pull off all of the cool moves that I could see my heroes doing and video game characters doing. So I learned to do all the fancy flips and kicks and tricks and things like that. I was also, so I trained myself in not just martial arts, but a method called XMA, which is extreme martial arts, and that is blending like martial arts, parkour, breakdancing, and gymnastics all into like one fluid martial art. And it's not necessarily like a super effective way to fight. Like I don't do like backflips and fancy kicks and spinning punches and stuff like that when I actually fight. But for performance art and things like that, it's really good. So if someone says, "Oh, can you do a backflip?" Yeah, I can. That's actually one of the main problems. Is if I can't do a backflip in here. I mean, I could, but I hit the ceiling. Like I would straight up kick the lampshade off. It would be really difficult. But I will show you guys that I can do a backflip one day. Yeah, there's a theory for you. In fact, I haven't got a poll up, so I'm gonna see if any of you believe me. Can Gemini actually do a backflip? Yes. I want to do a little emoji. I want to do a little thinking face in there as well because I am the emoji king and I like context. There you go. I started a poll for you guys so that you can see who actually believes me, whether or not I can do a backflip. Hell no, I've already got a hell no. And somebody's like, no, not a chance he can do a goddamn backflip. Guys, did Gemini do the ice bucket? I missed the last stream, so no, Puppy, I haven't done it yet. I haven't done the. You won't miss it either because I won't do it live. It's going to be an upload video because I'll have to do the ice bucket challenge outdoors, which will facilitate me like setting up the camera outside and recording the video and having my friend there to make sure I don't die during it and things like that. So you haven't missed it. Don't worry. The ice bucket challenge is coming up because I do owe that to you guys, and I'll probably do a backflip on that video as well. I'll probably make it a YouTube short. What's up, Wendy Bat? How are you doing? Alone has the most physical strength. You know what? So far, she does seem to have exhibited the most, the greatest feats of strength that we've seen by a single person as a child in the Nowhere. So she could be curious. What's up, Stumboy? How you doing? And hello, Muttersteak. I'm glad you came back. Ghost Goat back for the second stream. I'm glad I didn't frighten you away with the first one. Yeah, also, if you guys haven't already, please drop me a little thumbs up on the stream because it'll really help this get out to other people. And I'd love to expand this community and meet more of you guys because that is the point of YouTube, right? Wait, I just saw someone's question and it disappeared. Mal. JK Mal. Gem, I tried asking this question yesterday, but I don't think it got through due to my Wi-Fi. Do you reckon the Switch Mirror Edition will still be in stock in 4 weeks? Yeah, I do. Yeah. I would hope so anyway, because as far as I'm aware, the Switch Mirror Edition we can't even order yet. And if we can, I haven't been made aware of it. I don't own a Switch, so I'm not entirely sure, so I couldn't promise you anything, but I know that with the Switch being the latest one, you know, so it's like, I think Switch, I believe, might be the least popular console out of the 4 platforms that we're getting it on, and I know they were late, so pre-orders for the Switch editions of these games were later than the PS5, the Xbox and the Steam editions. So there is a good chance that it'll still be there in 4 weeks' time. I really hope it is for your sake, but I couldn't promise you anything. But I would assume so. I don't think they'll deprive you of it that quickly. I don't think. Hi, what's up, Runaway Cobra? I would run if I saw leeches with legs. Yeah, Bookworm, I wouldn't blame you either. Leeches can be terrifying. There's a old King Kong movie with giant leeches in it, and you get to see them eat a dude, and it's just grim. It's like a really, really ugly way to go. Take care of yourself and get a good rest after this. Yeah, absolutely, I intend to. I'm hopefully going to be getting a reasonably early night. I do have stuff to do after this. I've got a meeting well, not right after this, but I do have a meeting in a few hours. So I'll probably like finish this, have a quick shower, grab something to eat, and then have my meeting. But it shouldn't keep me all night. So it should only be for a couple hours or something like that. Scrap, there's another nickel. There, thank you, Step. Very generous of you. Just mention Andrew's scrap. Iris Moth, what do you think of the Little Nightmares stop motion teaser? Oh, I'm in love with it. I think it's amazing. There's a lot to find in that as well. I can't believe how quick it was. But I can see why they didn't want to give us too much. There's so much to learn. I think that has the potential to reveal the most out of anything we've seen so far about the reality of the Nowhere, and the logistics of entering it and things like that, because I think we might actually get to witness that for the first time during that stop motion animation movie. If it is indeed a movie. It might not be a full-blown movie, but we'll see. I used to watch those rooftops parkour videos when I was younger, since my brother loved them. It was always a thing for... Yeah, I did. I always thought it was really impressive. I actually stopped doing parkour quite a long time ago. But it was a lot of fun while I used to do it. It was just wild because back when I used to do it, back in my day, because I'm old, at least like compared to you guys, I'm hella old. But when I was younger and I used to do parkour, not many people did it. It wasn't like the global phenomenon that it is now. Like a lot of the time you would say, oh, we're going to do parkour, and people wouldn't know what it was. Like people didn't know parkour, they didn't know free. In fact, they called it free running then. It wasn't even called parkour. Back then it was called free running. I'll draw you because you're very beautiful. Ah, thank you, Dono. I appreciate it. Ah, chef's kiss. Beautiful. Yes, draw me buff, though. Draw me jacked. I know this. Like, Dono's going to draw me as, like, a guest now. I'm going to look like one of the herd. Oh, but yeah, if you've got the capabilities, please feel free to draw me as a Little Nightmares villain. I would love to see like an ugly, like nightmarish depiction of me drawn really well, because I'm not an artist, but a lot of my friends are. I really like to see like a really messed up and like what's the word, unflattering image drawn of me. I think it would be hilarious, and I'm hard to insult as well, so don't worry about making me upset. It's like, I don't want to be too harsh. Like, no, if you want to draw me with like proper messed up teeth, like, you know, proper British trait, please do. Please feel free, I won't be offended. I think it's great. Moderator, so Gemini, here I am, not late like yesterday, but sadly won't be able to see you talking. But hey, that's absolutely fine, Mobbiness. I don't expect you to be tuning in when you're at work, and I appreciate you being here. I'm sorry that you weren't able to tune in yesterday, but it's all good because we have a back-to-back stream for some reason this weekend on account of Step. Step, this is your fault. It's your fault I'm here. You're making me work overtime. I demand a raise. I demand sacrifice. Quick, someone sacrifice something. Somebody choose a sacrifice. Who are we sacrificing out of the chat to satiate Gemini's hunger? I need protein. Who are you all going to play as first in Little Nightmares 3? Ooh, I am torn. I think I'm going to play as Law. Just because I really fancy playing with the bow mechanics, but I'm not sure. I still haven't decided yet, and honestly, the way I feel about both characters, it probably will come down to a coin flip on the title screen. I'll just be like, right, it's Law or Alone for the first try. I'll flip a coin. If it's heads, I'll use Law. If it's tails, I'll use Alone, or something like that, because it's really difficult for me to choose a favourite out of the two. PS4 Mirror and Platinum Spiral aren't available yet either. Yeah, I know, Step. That's something that I've been curious about, because I've been trying to order the PS5, not the Mirror Edition. I just want to order the PS5 Standard Edition, which should be available now. But if I go to the Bandai Store website, it won't let me do it. But I need to, because I owe it to one of the viewers, because everybody who's won a prize on this channel, so we had like 7 competitions over the course of like the last 15 months or something like that, where I would do giveaways, where I'll give away, you know, like comics and games and things like that, and statues, you know, like Little Nightmares collectible statues and things like that. And everybody has received their prize apart from one person, Clamori, because Clamori is the only person who requested the PS5 version of the game. And for some reason, Bandai Namco Store won't let me buy it, and I don't know why. And I wasn't sure if it was like actually available yet. I don't know if it's literally just the fact that I don't own a PS5, so I can't order it, sort of thing. I don't know if I need like more details from Clamori to purchase it on their behalf, or if it's just easier for me to send Clamori the money in order to do that. But Clamori, if you're watching, I haven't forgot about you, I promise. I've just run into some logistic difficulties, but you will get your game because you won fair and square. Sure, I draw jack people all the time. Nice, it's all good. Chill, I'm 20 years old also. Ah, that's fine then, Mono. At least we're the same age. Gemini, have you put on some type of block to stop me donating? Yes? Question mark? No, I haven't. I just haven't set a goal today because I don't have anything to offer you guys. Because obviously I like to share my artworks and things like that, but we hit the goal yesterday, and I shared my work in progress artworks of my OC character Knight, and you guys already got to see that, and I don't have anything new to offer you if we were to hit a donation goal, so I just haven't set one. Donations are still open, and you can feel free to do it, but there is no obligation or motivation to do so because you literally won't get anything for it today. I just don't have anything to offer right now, so I haven't set anything up. But Gemini, you already look like a herd. I've decided, everyone, we're sacrificing Wendy Bat. I demand sacrifice. Wendy Bat is going to be my source of protein for the day. Everyone put some eyeballs in the chat for Wendy Bat. How do I ban someone from the chat? How do I... No, I'm not going to do that. but yeah, imagine that though. Like, if I tell you what, if I didn't work out, that's exactly how I'd look. Oh, I thought of something. Okay, here's a thing for you then. I'm gonna make it work for this one though, because it'll be 10. Because I actually look like a herd. I will share a photo of myself when I was fat. There. I've set a new super chat goal for everybody because I have some really rather unflattering photographs of me when I was really big, because I lost a lot of weight back in like 2021 because I was super overweight. Like, I was really big. I looked like a guest. I looked like a member of the herd, because that's all I used to do. I just used to consume candy and sit in the house. And there is a sob story behind it and everything, because, you know, I had like a crippling anxiety that prevented me from going outside, and I couldn't, you know, I didn't leave the house for like a year. I used to eat to comfort myself. I gained loads of weight, and I looked really like, it's not fat shaming or anything. Don't get me wrong. It's just I was really uncomfortable on camera and really unhappy with my appearance, and I just didn't feel confident in myself. So I decided, I made a decision to become a healthier person. And I do think that you should love who you are, but I also feel like you should take good care of yourself, whether that be just to look better so you feel better, like physically more confident. Like, I'm a lot more confident on camera looking like this in shape than I was as a big fat dude. You know, I wasn't as happy as a fat person. Like, I was a fat person, but I wasn't happy being fat. I was uncomfortable, I was unwell, you know, I couldn't process things as well. You know, my heart, I'd sweat an awful lot. I sweat a lot now, don't get me wrong. But it's just uncomfortable, and I wanted to prioritise my health. And I do still have those pictures. I keep them for posterity, and I like looking back at them because it lets me see the progress I've made. And if you guys want to see a photograph of Fat Gemini where I actually did look like a guest, feel free to make your donations, because that's what I'll actually share with you all. Barbara, they're sacrificing me, Barbara. Someone's gonna end up getting Just Jordan here if you keep talking about Barbara. Yo, what did I miss? You didn't miss much. Don't you worry. I still can't say your name. Drigai. Driga, how do I pronounce your name? You're directly above Alex the Frog, who said, I popped on the stream and I got an advertisement for the Church of Mormons WTF. Honestly, I don't set the ads, by the way. Like, your ads, I've heard that adverts like the YouTube algorithm, they use an algorithm like cookies and things like that to find what would appeal to you. So when you see adverts for like stuff, I see adverts for everything, because my Google search history is the weirdest thing on the internet. Like, some of the stranger, let me just have a quick look at the last thing I Googled. What was the last thing I Googled? The last thing I Googled was Amazon. But it's yeah, there's so many, just, oh god, I'm so glad you guys can't see this. Like, my Google search history is so bizarre that if you were to like look it up and like scroll through it, you would think that I am like a black magic terrorist, judging from what I've been Googling recently. Gummy Shark, Mushroom, Nikki Gibbs, hello everybody. Grab the forks and torches. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Wendy Bat's like... Even Wendy Bat is honoured to be a sacrifice. You will be a sacrifice. I choose you as tribute. Yeah! All the eyeballs in the chat. What about sacrifice some gummy candy? Somebody should sacrifice me a gummy gnome. Kit Kat Catsy, how you doing? My motivation is knowing that donations go to Mama Gemma Luna and helps make you happy. That's my reward. Ah, you're so wholesome, Catsy. A lot of love in the chat for Mama Gem. She was really happy today, by the way. She was chilling. My nephews were there. They were making a lot of noise. It's like super overstimulating to be around them, but they're brilliant, and they do take good care of her as well, and they cheer her up. So it's all good. Also, sorry if I keep drifting off camera as usual. I'm kind of like leaning because I'm trying to like tactically place chat there, like this. There you go. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. Everyone's yelling sacrifice. This is why, man, like, if I'm going to start getting the... Oh no! It wouldn't surprise me if I start seeing adverts for the Mormon Church and stuff. They'll be like, "You need Jesus, Gemini. You need religion. You need God." And I'll be like, "Bitch, I am God." Oh no! Yeah, the ending is crazy. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen the before photos and you look gorgeous either way. No, I don't, Alison. No, you're supposed to be helping to motivate people to lose weight and to go to the gym and to eat better and be healthy and get jacked. Everyone should get jacked. Gemini was stress eating. I absolutely was. Yeah, I absolutely was. Yeah, power of mind over matter, Catsy. Exactly. Transformation. Yeah, my transformation video is actually on YouTube as well. It's true, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. Yeah, exactly. You need to be happy in yourself, and even if you do carry a bit of excess weight, as long as it's not affecting your health and your mentality, that's fine. My point is, you need to be able to look in the mirror and love who you see, because self-care is very, very important. And if you don't put yourself first and actually love the person who you've become, then it's very difficult to love anybody else, or to expect anyone else to love you. You know, it damages your self-esteem, your confidence, your overall drive, your motivation. So you've got to be happy in yourself. And if you're currently unhappy with your physique, you can change it. You can diet down, you can do more steps, you can go to the gym and work out, you can join a class, you can take part in sports. You know, there's a number of activities and ways and means that you can do to change yourself in a healthy way, rather than just being unhappy with it. Because some people will say, you know, well, I'm fat and I'm fine, I'm happy with it. And that's great, you know, that's fine, because if you're happy and if you're healthy, then great, good for you. You know, I was fat, but I wasn't happy and I wasn't healthy. So I used that as my motivation to change. I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying that the option is there, but it has to be you. It has to be your decision, and you have to be the one, because you're the guy looking in the mirror, or the girl looking in the mirror. You know, you're the person who's got to look back at yourself and think, I like this person. And if you don't, you can do something about it. What's up, Artbox? How you doing? I'm glad you can make it. I think the love who you are thing only applies when you do things in order to look better or be a better person overall, not when you do absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Like you, like it's like civic pride. Like it's one thing to be proud of yourself. It's like, you know, I am proud to be X, Y, Z. You know, someone could say I'm proud to be myself. But why? You know, what have you achieved? What have you overcome in your life? Like, why are you proud? Because it's one thing to carry pride, but if you're proud over nothing, then you accept, like, stagnation, essentially. You accept mediocrity, and you choose not to excel at anything. And that's fine if you want to be really complacent, but most people don't. Most people want to be known for something, or have some impact or legacy. You know, they want something to look back on, you know, towards the end of their life or in their older years. They want to be able to look back and say, you know what, yeah, I made a difference. You know, I did something positive with my life. I inspired people in a positive way. I had a positive impact on people's lives, and I was happy. Even if that's all it is, even if you don't, like, do it for anybody else, even if you only do it for selfish reasons, and you do it to change because you wanted to feel more confident just for vanity's sake, that's fine too. Because it's called self-care, self-love, self-appreciation. It's about you. It's not necessarily about anyone else. Other people can be involved, and you can use other people as your motivation to help you strive for better and to self-improvement. But it has to be you and your decision. It's got to be something that you do for you, ultimately. Gemini out of context, please. Somebody make a Gemini out of context video. Oh yeah, I thought Step would jump to that. Yeah, Step's got the next short on Step's channel is going to be an out of context Gemini, and it's going to be horrendous. It's just going to be me saying loads of controversial things. Honestly, like, Step, if you upload something like that, I'll probably get cancelled. Oh my god, it's thundering and storming outside. Wish my... Yeah, the best of luck to Idiotic Bookworm's internet. I've got a feeling we'll be in for a storm any day now, because it is going to be... it's very, very hot here. It's currently 29 degrees in this room at the moment, so it is pretty hot. It's blazing sunshine outside as well. It was overcast a little bit today in the storm, and there was like clouds. And I was like, ooh, storm could be brewing. And it definitely is, because the atmospheric pressure due to this kind of heat, especially with me living so close to the ocean, there is definitely a thunderstorm brewing. But it's not upon us just yet. So that one the idiotic bookworm's currently sitting in that's killing her internet, that's probably the one that's on its way here. What's up, Detective Gamer Treg? How you doing? What's up, bros? What's up? Still holding up to eating that hat promise? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, I've got a bet on with another Little Nightmares content creator called 50B2 from Wales, and he believes that Little Nightmares 3 is going to have a happy ending. How many of you guys believe that? And yeah, also, how's this poll going? Let me just have a look and see how many of you believe me. Only 86% of you believe that I can do a backflip. Who's the other 14%? Who are these people? I demand more sacrifice. Who are you? Identify yourselves immediately. I have a 16-pack. Trust me, bro. That's the, Wait, yeah, I need another poll. I'm gonna say... You think N3 will have a happy ending? Yes. Put some emojis on. I'm gonna put a happy face to this one. No, I'm gonna put a party face to this one. Because fun. There. New poll. I hope you're watching Fipsy B2, because I've got a feeling I know how this one will go. But yeah, and if I'm wrong, and if it's a happy ending, I said if Little Nightmares has a happy, if Little Nightmares 3 has a happy ending, I'll eat my hat. And the community have held me to it, and they're like, right, you've got to play through the game, and if it does have a happy ending, you have to physically eat a hat on stream. And I'm a man of my word, and I'm a freaking psychopath. I'll do it. I will do it. But it's not going to be a happy ending. Trust me, I know. Well, I don't know, but, you know, just, like, do the math, guys. Like, we've all played the games, right? Do any of you expect it's going to be a happy ending? Hell no, 74%. A surprising amount of you are going against me. Who's turning against me in the chat? How dare you? Identify yourselves immediately. Step, we still need the Gemini Rage compilation. Gemini, what was your reaction to all the clutch things that released for Little Nightmares 3 when we were watching George's live stream? Oh, I was like beside myself. I was spinning in my chair. I was bouncing in my seat. I had my fists in the air. Oh, honestly, I was hugging the screen. I was shaking my screen. Oh my god! When I found out there was going to be 2 additional chapters for DLC, I was just like, satisfaction overload. It was so overwhelmingly positive. I'm not going to do that, Alex. I know you're trying to trick me. I see you. I have an analytical mind. You can't fool me. Gummy Shark. In the US, heat waves in the summer are possible. You don't say. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it? Bye-bye, Doorknob. Wilbur the Dream Demon. Hey Gemini, what's up Wilbur? How you doing? I'm sorry it took a little bit long to get to your comment, but you know what it's like. And I will endlessly excuse myself when it comes to that. Also, I've got something in my eye and it's burning like hell. Damn it, I hope it's not holy water. Yeah, but also don't click away. I might burst into flame and you wouldn't want to miss that. Gemini, I've decided on giving my theory over to you. Every time I try to record it, something's going wrong, so my brother, I wish for you to share. All I ask is you give me credit. What theory? What credit? Don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Tibbs. We've never discussed a theory. But I have a fantastic theory that's coming up soon, and you guys are going to love it. And it was all my idea, and nobody else's, and Mr. Tibbs was nothing to do with it. And if he tells you otherwise, he's a liar and a fraud, and I demand sacrifice. We need to... We're not doing the Auschwitz thing. We are not doing counter curse. We are not putting the Auschwitz thing in a video. That's not going to happen. I'll get sacked. I love Fipsy B too. ANH, yeah, Fipsy is great. He's really funny. Yep, you're banned. Steps intentionally combing through footage of me saying controversial things now just to get me banned off the internet. I want Little Nightmares 3 to have a happy ending. You know what? It would be nice, but it's not going to happen. I'm really sorry to burst your bubble, Catsy, but I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. Said no just for the funnies, just for the funsies. Wendy, but I think it would be a bittersweet ending, but it would make us say at what cost. Yeah, exactly, right? So it could be a happy ending. But I'm only considering it a happy ending if both characters escape the nowhere and survive. It's got to be a happy ending. Because we could argue that 6 has a happy ending because she escapes them all. But is it really? Is it really? Because she's still trapped in the nowhere, and she's more than likely, in fact, being corrupted by it still. That's why Dark 6 is still a thing, especially towards the end of the game. Little Nightmares wouldn't work with a completely happy ending. It would feel too out of place. Yeah, exactly, because it wouldn't be called Little Nightmares anymore. It'd be called Big Dreams. Big, happy, smiley dreams. I'm doing the artwork I showed you earlier tonight. Oh, that's great, Alison. I can't wait to see your artwork. I love Little Nightmares artwork, by the way. I love fan arts, I love artworks, I love all of that kind of stuff. So if any of you guys want to present that to me, then I would absolutely love to see it. What kind of hat? I haven't decided yet. I'm not really sure. Because I only own a couple of hats, and I never ever wear them. They're more for, like, you know, display purposes only. You know, just like stupid things that I bought where I've done like silly skits and things like that, or cosplays or whatever. But I will choose a hat that I'm not like emotionally attached to, and I'll eat that. Failing that, I'll purchase a new hat to eat. Oh, not 25% people actually agreeing with Fipsy B2. Who are you people? Altac believes Fipsy. Altac, how dare you? I thought you were on my side. I thought you were one of us. I even give you an all-seeing eye. Me too. Mal, what the why are my channel members on Fipsy B2's side? Who are you people? I thought I knew you guys. You've changed. You've changed. Jem, what do you think about the costumes, Little Nightmares? I think they're dope, Wendy, but I think they're awesome. I'm absolutely enthused that we're getting more costumes for the characters as well. I'm really excited to play as the characters in Dark 6 costume. I think that's going to be dope, but I'm also really excited to see what the Ferryman one looks like in motion. Call us the guest without we overfed with content we got. Yeah, exactly. We really were, like, absolutely grotesquely gorging that day. Eating taquitos and spiders while watching, because why not? You know, there's some places in the world that do that, that eat like insects and spiders as a delicacy quite frequently. It's not weird to them. Like in certain parts of Asia, it's very common for somebody to sit there with like a bag of like dried crickets and just eat them, the same way like anyone in the West would just sit and eat like a bag of chips or whatever. Hey Gabriel, I've seen you. Gabriel VR, what are we going to talk about? We're just talking garbage at the moment, right? I'm just arguing with my biggest fans, apparently, who all love Fipsy B2 and not me. But I'm talking about what I would look like as a Little Nightmares character and about how ugly I would be if somebody decided to draw me. But yeah, we are going to actually get into some other stuff as well, because like I said, I don't have a great deal of time today, and I do want to get into Steps' Canva presentation before long. I have that up on my screen that I'm going to share with you guys quite shortly, but when I do that I'm going to have to shrink my face, and I don't want to mess with the controls and stuff just yet, just in case it kills the stream or if anything goes wrong, because it's easier to go one way than it is to go the other. So the Gemini situation is crazy. Oh no, counter curse, don't. I'm going to end up on a Moist Critical video at this rate. I'm going to be that psychopath that sacrifices members of his audience for this over Auschwitz. Controversy surrounding Auschwitz. What do Gemini and Auschwitz have in common? Honestly, you look at my search history without context, you think I'm a psychopath. Yeah, exactly, right? Honestly, you would think I'm some kind of terrorist if you were to look at my search history. I'm not. People would think I'm a cult leader, and that I can neither confirm nor deny. Theory of the timeline of Little Nightmares 3. This is all before 6 came along, and I think we're going to learn about the Ferryman and how the Maw was made, and more about Little Nightmares 3. You know, given the aesthetic of one of the DLCs, which I've heard from Step is known as the Shores, we might actually get to see some, like, more origins, or some expansive, an expand on the lore of the Maw. That's weird to say, the lore of the Maw. But, like, you know, if we're on the shores and there's a lighthouse and things like that, and a couple of, like, floating, like what looks like a lobster cage that could be used as some kind of raft, and the ocean looks kind of choppy around that area as well. So I don't know, maybe that's like maybe that's somewhere where the ship came from that visits the Maw, that takes the guests to it. Maybe we're going to get some kind of tie-in to Little Nightmares 1 in the DLC. So you could be right there, Chris. I suppose we'll find out. Catsy's going to play as Law, for real, for real. Big dreams. Where to send fan art? So you can pop them in the Discord server. If you can find me on Discord, I'm pretty active in most of the all of the Little Nightmares or Tazia Discord servers. Or you can send them to this email address. There we go. So that email address that I've just put in the description, in the chat, is my direct channel email address. Now, I don't get a chance to look through it very often, but that's where people send me fan art or animations or like video links or theories, like Canva presentations and things like that. And that's the easiest way to get content in front of me that I'm guaranteed to see. I don't spend a lot of time on Discord because when I do, my Discord looks like this. Like that, my Discord is like chat. So it's like constantly it like constantly goes off. The phone is just bzz, 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 it never shuts up. And it's nice that so many people want my attention and they want to talk to me, but it's impossible to respond to everybody all the time. So I don't really use Discord. I just pop on and use it as an advertising platform. I'll let you guys know I'm live. I'm just like, felt cute, went live, kind of thing. But yeah, sacrifice Altac. Altac is the next one. 50p2 is great. But I don't think it'll have a complete... Thank you, A&H. Finally, somebody agrees with me. You see, Altac, A&H is a real fan. Low and alone, Scrat and Acorn costume, please, Bandai. Scrat outfit when? Do you think the Ghost Kid has some powers? Oh, I don't think he does. I don't think Ghost Kid does have any powers. I'm not sure. Unless empathy counts as a superpower, because he's one of my favourite ones of the comic. He might be my favourite comic kid, actually. Him or Lollipop Boy? Because apparently Lollipop Boy looks like me. And to be fair, he used to. Exercise. I thought you said gem and eyes. Gem and eye. If Coralie Finelio, producer of Little Nightmares 3 mentioned alone trying to get to know him, maybe they will escape and have a good... Maybe they will. But the thing is, I'm not counting it as a happy ending if only one of them gets out, because that means that something awful happened to the other one. So one of them getting out doesn't count. It has to be both. It has to actually be a happy ending with sunshine and rainbows and nice lollipops and big hugs from parents and families who've missed their children. You know, that there has to be good stuff. It's got to be an actually objectively good ending. It can't just be, well, she kind of escaped, like, obscurely. When do we get a business? Shortly, actually. Shortly. Gemini, you need to watch the video of Steps where they react to the Little Nightmare Showcase. It's funny as. I will, I probably will at some point. Won't be today, I don't think, but I will try. Ramea XL. What if the girl from the stop motion teaser becomes a monster baby? It looks similar with the doll in the house, reminds me of the monster baby and she plays in Yeah, absolutely. She does sort of give off that vibe, and the dress is very, very similar. I noticed that in Just George's most recent, well, one of Just George's most recent theory videos. Have to leave now, but I hope you guys have a good time. Thank you for stopping by, Iris Moth. It's always good to see you. Appreciate you being here. You are a cult leader, Gem. Thanks, Bookworm. I appreciate that. Are we a cult? I don't know if we count as a cult. I tell you what, right? That can be the next poll while I set up this thing, because I am going to change over the cameras now and get to stepping. Yeah, you see what I did there? Yeah, like that step. You got involved. I made a pun out of you. What was I going to ask? There you go. New poll for you guys. Feel free to interact with that. There are two types of people when it comes to seeing yellow triangles. Yeah, there's some people that see warning signs, right? Yellow triangle, I see murder Doritos. 100% believe she's Monster Baby. Puppy Queen agrees with you there. One of the Little Nightmares creators, maybe Dave Mervick, said in a questionnaire that no one made the Maw. Yeah, and it existed because it needed to. And Artbox is absolutely right. Dave Mervick did in fact say that. I've seen that interview. He said that the Maw exists because the hunger exists. And I think that the Maw is a living entity. I think it's an extension of the Nowhere. I think it's a tangible part of it. Very much like the Pale City's Signal Tower. I also think the Nest is one of those as well. I think that most of the significant locations are these entities, or like the nucleus parts of them. And I think the Maw is like a living, breathing entity that lives within the Nowhere. It just disguises itself as like a building with operations and stuff, and it uses the catalyst, its hosts to feed it, like the lady and her influence, and obviously it consumes the guests and the children and everything else that comes on board, and it uses the characters that are built within it, all the masked ones like Roger and the chefs, to perpetrate this ruse. Your favourite Little Nightmares character? Six is my favourite character. She's always been my favourite character. She's absolutely dope. Fight me. Lollipop Gemini, yeah, this is the Gemini cult. Used to. Hope I say Lollipop Boy again. Artbox, you are going to see the Lollipop Boy again, because I am working on a Little Nightmares 2 playable DLC video game that we're going to release to you. I'm working on it with the Oldest Nightmare, and Lollipop Boy is a playable character in chapter 1 of that. Love the dollhouse aesthetic. Yeah, I absolutely love that as well. Step up with the jokes, Jem. Seriously. Bookworm, I see you. I said Necropolis is one of the most underrated and unique locations. Yeah, it really is one of the most unique, definitely. And I'm very interested to see what secrets a Necropolis holds, because I feel like it's rather understated, because it was the first place that was revealed to us, and there was a lot of controversy surrounding it on account of the jarring colour palette. The fact that it was like lots of oranges and yellows and sunshine, and it's like, wait a minute, this doesn't look like the Nowhere. But then you start reading into it, and you're, oh, yes it does. Yes it does. So I can see why. Look at all the eyeballs in the chat now. Yeah, we are. Yes, 63% would agree that we are a cult. And the rest of them aren't saying anything. If you speed up Little Nightmares 3 theme, it sounds like the Monster Babies theme. Could be the same thing, or it could be an extension of it. What's up, Raina? How are you doing? I think it was there for a different purpose, so I think it used to be a flying vehicle as opposed to an aquatic one. As when you go up, it's more positive, but going down. Yeah, I heard an Overman theory about that, and the Necropolis as a dead entity. Yeah, it absolutely counter-occurs. That's the thing, is if you consider like all of these areas, we don't know like what the nucleus point or the nexus point of the spiral is just yet, because obviously when they're talking about these places and they advertise the games, they talk about the Maw, and that's like the entirety of what we see in Little Nightmares 1. Then there's the Pale City, which consist of like the school, the hospital, the signal tower itself, and then, you know, the cityscape and the viewers' buildings and homes and things like that. That's all contained within the Pale City, and the spiral is just like that. And the necropolis, the carnival, and the candy factory, and these other places that we're supposed to be visiting, the backstage and the shores, which are, I believe, the names of the two areas for the DLC for Little Nightmares 3, all are contained within the spiral. But I don't know which of those is the most significant, or which of those would be the living organism. If I had to guess, I would assume it was the carnival, but I don't know. I don't know for certain. I'm actually not so. I'm not like dead set on that either. 6 is my favourite little feral gremlin child. The warning triangle in the chat. That's brilliant. Alex the Frog, I see that. I am not spelling that. I refuse. You're not tricking me. I refuse. Oldest Nightmare is so good at creating Little Nightmares. Yeah, absolutely. Oldest Nightmare captures the Little Nightmares aesthetic very, very well indeed. Long live the rebels. I wouldn't mind an aristocrat enemy who does genuinely look beautiful, but she's got a dark secret about herself. Would be cool. Yeah, I'm actually interested to see if they do anything with the idea of the perfect lady from the Sounds of Nightmares episode 6. I think that would be really interesting because obviously the lady from Little Nightmares 1, she doesn't seem to fit the mold on account of the fact that she's quite pretty, isn't she? Like aesthetically, you know, she's slim, she has nice long flowing hair, and then there's the porcelain mask. But we know that that's a ruse. We know that that's it's a disguise, and that she's actually like all contorted and warped underneath, and she just looks just as ugly and repulsive as all of the other nightmares that occur within the nowhere. But the perfect lady, she's a bit different. I'm not sure how they would portray that, but I'd really like to see it. When will there be another Gamescom event? August 20th. Little Nightmares 3 is confirmed to be appearing, but I don't know how much we're going to get to see. I'm kind of hoping that they've saved one more thing to reveal to us, you know, like a big reveal of a gameplay demo or something like that for Gamescom. I'm not holding my breath for it because I feel like we got a lot, right? Like, we ate good. So even if they show up at Gamescom in August and all they give us is the same trailer we've already seen, I'm perfectly fine with that, because the amount we got at the showcase made up for the entire year that we've been waiting for something to be revealed. I feel like we've got enough to work with at the moment without being too nitpicky about, they had an opportunity at Gamescom to reveal something really cool. It's like, bro, like, they've revealed so much cool stuff at the moment that it's hard to ask for more. There's got so much. They revealed so much to us that we couldn't digest it all in a single video. I'm willing to bet there's either a demo trailer or another trailer. Yeah, Artbox, there could be. There absolutely could be. Again, I'm not holding that hope. August 19th. I believe it's August 19th or August 20th. It depends on where you are in the world as to where it goes. But also, Gamescom is like a 4-day event or something like that as well. So we might not get it on the first day. And I'm sure Just Jord will do a live reaction to it when it comes up, and I'll be watching that over on his channel as well. So, yeah, I'll probably see a lot of you guys there anyway. Alone isn't the ferryman, that'd just be a repetition of the 2017 comic. Well, it probably would, Step, but also, like, I'm wondering if the most obvious thing, you know, because something that we do is we tend to overthink, right? You know, we as theorists will analyze this and be like, well, I couldn't possibly do that because it's already been done. But they might expect us to expect that. You know, I don't know. I'm not really sure how they work, but yeah, it's all good. What's up, Sire? Isn't the DLC of Little Nightmares 3 that what we call the Ferryman's Coat or something like that? I don't think so. I just think we have an option for a ferryman outfit. I think it's like a special that you get for pre-ordering the game. No, that was the 6th one. I think if you order like one of the special editions, like the deluxe edition of the game, both Low and Alone get ferryman outfits that you can wear as you play through the game. I think the DLC is called Secrets of the Spiral, and the two areas contained within it is the backstage and the shores. Hey, Faceless Art and Skills, what's up? How's it going? Hey, I'm glad you could make it to the stream. It's really good to see you. How are you? Hope you're doing all right. All right then. Let's have a little look-see. Okay, so who is it's literally Step. I was literally just gonna say I like to go way too deep with these things. Big Dipper, big top. Yeah. So let's get into Step's theory here, because it will be interesting and there's a lot to read from what I can gather. So I'm just gonna switch up my camera real quick. I'm gonna go from camera big to camera small. Hi guys. You got small Gemini now. This is mini Gemini. This is not jacked Gemini. Also, yeah, gym shirt Gemini. Like, should gym shirt Gemini become a thing, or should I go back to my like duality concept that I normally do? And I'll turn my display on and change to this here. There we go. Right, I've lost chat. Where is chat? Okie dokie. Now, it might be a little bit difficult because obviously I want to read chat, but I also want to show Step the respect he deserves for having him and his team put this together for us. And this is definitely going to be interesting. It might just mean that I have to tactically move chat over to my OBS on the other stream, and I won't be able to see what you guys are saying during this. So there's a good chance I'm going to read through this and then like refer back to chat as and when we go. But we are going to get into business. So let's get down to some bit of gymnastics. Made an animated thing, help. Oh yes. Oh my god. Is it Gemini out of context? Why not a waltz before Saint music? Yeah, potentially. Yeah, that could be cool. Ethan's praying for a public demo. Pray to the eyes for a public demo. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really do hope that we do get a demo. I'm not holding my breath, and if we don't, then I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll see. Just GKS is in the building. What's up, GKS? How you doing? Hope you're alright. Okay, bear with me then, chat. I'm just going to shrink you and move you over here. Oh, I have to shrink you more because my other monitor's not as big. Because this monitor is enormous. This is like a 30-inch monitor and the other one's only like 26. And I try to have my chat quite large so that I can see everybody. Alright then, getting into this. You can all see, right? Yeah, okay. Hello, Gem, and everybody in the chat. Steph says hi. Everyone say hi, Steph. Hi, Steph. Here's a share of things we found in the trailers and some photoshops with theories. Arrow button on the right for the next pages, Gem. Also, don't mind N and Uzi popping up on some pages to just show up. That's cool. And also, I like your little animation here. This is cool. So, yeah, and it doesn't actually have arrows on my screen. It has a scroll, but I'm just going to scroll. So, obviously, good job, Step, calling out spoilers for Little Nightmares 2, 3, Secrets of the Spiral, Descent to Nowhere, Little Nightmares Band Presto. Interesting. We get new figurines. The Sounds of Nightmares and Little Nightmares Comics 2017. Hi. 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 Many patient body parts can be found in the attic in the hunter's cabin. Also this small robot person. But yes, absolutely they can. How did all those parts end up all the way in the wilderness? How did they, Step? Explain. Yeah, questionable. Collab theory with the idiot. Hey, shout out idiotic bookworm. Bookworm mentioned the Big Dipper theory. All right, so Steph mentioned to me that these points here seem to strongly resemble a star sign called the Big Dipper, which I am very familiar with, and this is a strange fact, and some of you guys might have experienced the same phenomenon. If you've ever seen the Big Dipper in real life, it's genuine. It's a series of stars that you can look up into the night sky and see, and for some reason it's always directly above my head. Every time I look into the night sky and I look up, I see the Big Dipper. Every single time. It's always there. It's like, obviously, because that's how stars work, you know. It's not like they move. It's like, it's a Big Dipper, and then it's not. They never see it again. But I can literally point it out every single time, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will experience it too. But I'm familiar with the Big Dipper because of an old manga called The Fist of the North Star, Hokuto no Ken, and it's absolutely amazing. Anyway, I digress. This right here is the Big Dipper star sign, as Step has annotated right there. And you can see the similarities, right? Like I would, yeah, I think I will overlay, well actually I'm going to get to the end of this because there's a good chance, because Step is a good theorist. Step has a logical, analytical mind like a lot of you guys do, and he has a very keen, all-seeing eye. So there's a good chance we'll already see this overlaid on top of that for context anyway. But you guys can already see the similarities, I'm sure. But these right here are the 7 stars of the Big Dipper, the 7 stars of the North Star. That's actually what represents Hokuto no Ken. There you go, the very next slide, there you go. Sorry, Steph, I should have known that you would already do that. The pinpoints look like the Big Dipper. Stands for funerals and wagons. This can indicate 2 things. This is a really good overlay, but you guys can obviously see the pinpoints here, how very close those are to the Big Dipper. Funerals are pinpoints to show that the herd are transported to a place to their deaths. The pinpoints show that the herd are transported with the use of wagons. This, however, seems quite irrelevant and is already known. They're transported with the use of rollercoaster wagons, as we see in the trailer. Because when Low and Alone get on the roller coaster, nobody's actually riding it, despite there being a large line of herd waiting to get on that roller coaster. But you don't see any living people actually on the roller coaster apart from our heroes Low and Alone. So Step is absolutely right in that. But yet true, an obvious point, because we all see that it's just full of body bags. It is important to note that the Big Dipper isn't supposed to be pointing in the direction as the one on the map. This could mean that the exact opposite is pointed at. As birth celebrations or rebirth. This could indicate that whoever placed the pinpoints on the map, presumably the man in the purple suit, sees the transporting of the herd as a good thing, as a chance for rebirth of the herd, or maybe something or somebody else. See where this is going, Jack? Yeah, I kind of do. I kind of think ferryman. Yeah, exactly. I feed the spectrum's other end. Could the man in the purple suit also be someone who feeds the other end? So, just like the ferryman. Now, for those of you guys that aren't familiar, and again, spoilers for the Sounds of Nightmares, but when we hear the ferryman speak, and Otto demands access to the nowhere, and he's saying, no, take me with you, ferryman. Like, take me with you and help me cross the sill and descend into the nowhere. And the ferryman declines. And he says, you're too long in the tooth. I feed the spectrum's other end. Meaning that the ferryman is responsible for taking the children to the nowhere. He feeds that end, the traumatized children that are getting taken to the nowhere. He takes the visitors to the nowhere. But he says he feeds the spectrum's other end. Meaning he feeds the opposite end of the spectrum to the one that Otto is, would be privy to accessing. And it makes sense that something else, another powerful entity within the nowhere, controls that and feeds the spectrum's other end. So, like, for instance, if the ferryman is responsible for the visitors, then who is responsible for the residents? Like the teacher, like the janitor, like the chefs, like the hunter. Who brings them in? And it could be the man in the purple suit, according to Step's theory here, as is represented by the Big Dipper being reversed on this map. Very interesting, Step. Very interesting, especially given the denominations of what the Big Dipper represents, being birth and rebirth and things like that. So it absolutely could be that the herd being siphoned into the roller coaster and then presumably turned into the candy that the other herd are eating creates another consistent cycle of self-feeding. It's like a perpetual motion machine, like the maw. It's constantly feeding itself and advertising, so it never ever runs out. It just keeps on churning through in a cycle of death and rebirth. Like that. So yeah, absolutely valid and very, very interesting theory. Let me just get back to chat real quick before I continue, because I can see that there is more to see here. But first I want to go back and just see what some people have to say around this. Go full screen, Gemini. The layout of the pages can be off in this view. Ah, I see. Right, sorry about that, Step. I didn't see that until now, but I will go full screen in just a sec. I just didn't, because my face is in the corner. Would you guys be opposed to me getting rid of my face while we go through the rest of Step's presentation here? Who's the robot thing jumping around? The, the saucepan constellation. Yeah, because it's a dipper, right? Go full screen, by the way. Yeah, sorry about that. I missed those. Hope Little Nightmares 3 isn't a prequel. Hi, Steph. Yeah, everyone. Hi, Steph. Hi. Hello, Steph. Reanimal looks darker, grittier, and more sinister and bizarre than Little Nightmares 3. Yeah, Al Simmons, I probably agree. Tazi have done like an amazing job with Reanimal, and I'm really, really excited to say like that because it's got like some really super dark overtones, and I think it's going to go to places that Little Nightmares just couldn't on account of ratings and things like that. So I'm very, very excited to see what they do with it. Okay, let me just. Hello, Jen. Sorry, Mr. Lasher. Hey, don't worry, Daniel. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to catch every single one. I never expect everyone to be here all the time. I'm just really grateful when you are. And the VOD is still up, so you can still watch it. It's just a shame you weren't able to interact. But hello and welcome. I'm glad you can make it to today's. Big Dipper constellation looks like a kite. It kind of does, actually. If you were to flip it over, it does look like a kite. Interesting that it looks like a kite, and the kite is something that floats upwards instead of sinking lower. You can get me? Point to maybe the wilderness, the Pale City, the Mall, and the Necropolis. That's what I was thinking, Sire. I actually alluded to that in my most recent breakdown video, where I thought that those points represented places that the flying ship carnival will visit on its travels, and I thought that those places could be the Nest, the Maw, the Pale City, and the Necropolis. And I think that the ship is going to crash in the Necropolis, and that is what we see in the trailer when we see Lo and Alone. We see Lo waking up aboard the vessel and then being greeted by Alone, and then they vacate the vessel and end up in the sands of the Necropolis. But hey, that's just a theory. The map shows the nowhere. Yes, it does. Yeah. Absolutely, it does, Gabriel. It is, in fact, the same map of the nowhere that we found in the school. I overlaid those on top of each other for context in the same video, but this is an expansion of it, so we get to see that. In fact, that might even allude to the fact or hint at the fact that the nowhere is growing, that the nowhere is expanding. Okay, let's see. Ooh, sorry. Wait, what's happening? I was unaware of another stream. Oh, Tiny, yeah, sorry. So we didn't have enough time yesterday to comb through all of this stuff, and Steph put together an amazing Canva presentation of what their findings and everything, like, because Steph has done some collaborations and everything here that I really wanted to get to yesterday, but I ran out of time on account of having work and a meeting and a real life to live and all that other garbage. So I put out a poll and asked if anybody would like me to go live 2 days in a row, and the majority voted for yes, so here we are. But I'm sorry you weren't like informed, because normally I advertise these streams ahead of time so that people have a ample opportunity to like book it in, and not if anyone does like really want to watch it. Some people are like, please tell me when you're going live. I have to get the notification. Sometimes YouTube doesn't do the best job of notifying people even when you do have the notification bell on. Speaking of which, if you haven't already done the typical YouTubery stuff like hit the thumbs up button or the thumbs down if you hate my face, that's fine as well. You're allowed to have your own opinion. Not everybody values a cult leader, but also, if you're subscribed, ring the notification bell, because that will help at least let you know when I go live, so that you don't miss anything. Because people like to comment on these streams and interact with me in real time, and that's actually why I do them. To give you guys opportunity to theory craft with me as a community, because I think that's fun. Fun fact, the Latin names for the two dippers, Ursa Minor and Ursa Major, literally translate to Little Bear and Big Bear. Yeah, absolutely. I actually saw a performance, and it was... I went to a what's it called? A planetarium, and we sat in a massive dome. And they blacked it out, and they put like a full 360 projection of star signs on the roof, and you got to see a story of Ursa Minor and Ursa Major, and it was lovely. It was really wholesome. I really liked it. But yeah, I'm familiar with that. I actually like that kind of thing, astrology and that sort of stuff. I like the meaning and the symbolism behind it. It's very cool. Just imagine the puppet, the thin man in the purple suit, will be Rusty transformed. Oh no, what if it is? That's actually really good. Sire, that's actually really cool. What if what if the puppets are the children who he's like who he's had already. You know, the performing children that tried to escape, or the ones that he got bored of. You know, when he replaces them with new ones. What if that's what they are? What if they're his previous victims, his previous performers? I like that, Sire. That's actually a really cool theory. Just GK. Yeah, I know, right? Step always goes above and beyond for this presentation. Random question, but how do you guys call the two dippers in your native language? Yeah, that's an interesting thought, actually, Alex. I'd be curious to get that answer as well. Right, okay, sorry, where were we? Gemini, can you rate my profile picture? I would, but I can't see it. I can't actually see it without going to your channel, and I don't want to disrespect Step right now. I will disrespect Step eventually, but right now I want to stick to this page so that I don't miss it. If I remember, Daniel, I will rate your profile picture, but I can't actually see it. It's so small on my screen. As you can see, it's like only as big as my cursor, so I can't see what it is. Instead, does the Big Dipper bring Lorne alone to Burger King? You can see evidence of the nowhere not being done with since there's 2 points that aren't shown on the map. Yeah, absolutely. So some of these points are interconnected, and there is something there that I'll actually tell you about right now. What's up, Carnage? How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. PlayStation 4, no, PS5 is $35. Yeah. I've been trying to buy it for PS5 for one of my viewers who won it in a competition, actually, but I've been really struggling with it, and I'm not sure why it won't let me order it, but whatever the case. Anyway, I'm going to get back into Steph's theory here. Let me just shrink chat down so it'll fit on my other screen. Gemini, do you know who Nico One Shot is? No, I can't say I do. Not familiar with that name. Lionel and Gemini, do you have any tips for theory videos and motivation? Yeah, I absolutely do. What's up, Nightmare? It's good to see you. Yeah, I'm glad you can make it into the chat. So I'll just address what Lowen Alone said real quick. Do I have any tips for theory videos and motivation? Yeah, absolutely. Because as far as motivation goes, I feel like you can't be wrong. It's very difficult to get a theory video wrong because it's just a theory. And that's the whole point. And I know I'm totally stealing game theories thing right there. But with it being a theory and everything is saying just being observational and speculative, it means that you can't necessarily be wrong, especially about something as ambiguous and backward as the nowhere is. Because unless it's been actively confirmed by the developers, then you could speculate anything. Hell, I made a video towards Christmas time last year, or the year before even, it could have been called The Fallen Theory, that was literally based around the devil and religion and everything like that. And in my heart of hearts, I know that, or at least I believe, that it has absolutely nothing to do with the nowhere, and it doesn't look into religion at all, or Christianity, or any of the things that I drew parallels between. But I was able to do enough research to logically make it make sense from some angle. And that's the beauty of theory crafting, is when it's a world as ambiguous as the Little Nightmares universe and the nowhere, you can kind of force it to make sense. The point is, have fun. Enjoy what you're doing. Make it interesting. Substantiate it, because obviously it's good to have a theory that, you know, with some tangible evidence that you can substantiate and make realistic, so that people can look at that and be like, yeah, actually, yeah, that does make sense. There's a lot of my theories, well, a couple of my theories, that have become like headcanon for some people. Where it's like, you know, it's literally just been something that I thought of in the moment. And it hasn't been confirmed by the developers, but it makes sense on paper. And I've been able to, you know, draw some links up and draw parallels and then, like, script something that makes sense. So I can ask a bunch of questions. So what you do is you come up with a theory. As far as theory crafting goes, this is what I tend to do. I think of an idea, like, you know, is Law's amulet. There you go. Is the bracelet that Law wears anything to do with his powers? Is anything to do with the reason he can traverse the mirrors? And then I can think of 5 reasons why I think that is true and plausible. Those being like, you know, what those stones could represent and what those stones could be, the nature of his powers, the fact that it could be an amulet from the ferryman, as was, you know, given substance by evidence in the 2017 comics of the ferryman giving people trinkets and amulets and stuff to protect them from other entities within the nowhere and things like that. And then you come up with like 3 or 4 reasons to counter your own argument. Try, like, if you come up with a theory video, that's great. If you come up with a theory idea, that's great. But try intentionally to disprove your own theory, because if you can, so can everybody else. But if you can't, you know, if you can make it make sense on a logical level where it's like, well, it could be true, it could not be true, and either are just as likely. That's kind of like the key area, like right in the middle, that perfect balance of plausible and implausible. But just have fun with it. That would be my main number one point. Have fun and enjoy doing it. Theory crafting is fun, and a world as wild and ambiguous as the nowhere is gives you unlimited possibility, and there are very, very few grey areas when it comes to there's too many grey areas, and there's very, very few concrete things that the developers have said, no, this is absolutely canon and this doesn't change. Like, you couldn't come up with a theory video and say, well, actually, Six's raincoat is blue. It's always been blue. It's blue the whole time. And, you know, because we can see that it's not. It's like the developers have confirmed that it's not. They literally called it the yellow raincoat. You know, just, I'm using a super dumb example, but that's my point, is, you know, try and do your research, that's all. Anyway, sorry, where was I? Sadly can't afford super chats. Don't worry about it, Sire. There is absolutely no obligation to do super chat or anything like that. We actually did a stream yesterday and we hit the super chat goal. The only reason I've just got something silly up there in the goals at the moment is because I have nothing to offer you guys. Normally I'd share work in progress artworks or you know, gameplay progress for the video, for the Little Nightmares video game that me and the Oldest Nightmare are making, or progress on the comic series that I'm working on, and I shared that yesterday. I shared all the updates and stuff that I have with you guys that I have so far, and I don't have anything to offer today, so don't feel obliged to leave any donations. You won't get anything for it, apart from a big thank you from me. Sorry, I thought that was sorry. Gemini, what do you think about having costumes? I absolutely love having costumes in Little Nightmares 3. Romeo XL, Gemini, I sent you a theory to your email. I think I might be onto something. I'll be intrigued to read that, and if you are in fact onto something, I'll read it in the next stream. I'll go through it, and if I don't read it in the next stream, and if I include it in a theory video, you will be credited as well, and I'll mention that, and I'll leave these chats available as well so everyone can read back on them. So if I ever mention anything in a future theory video that you pointed out in one of these streams, you can go back and be like, hey Gemini, I actually said that, you know, I said that first before you did. Because if that's true and you've been like an unwitting inspiration behind that idea, we've got the chat for proof. So yeah, I can literally go back, screenshot your comment and just say, this was actually Step's idea, this was actually Bookworm's idea, this was actually Clamori's idea, and I will read and give credit where it's due. Well, thank you for sending me your theory, I really appreciate that. Let's go. Alright then, let's continue, because I'm going to get too far behind as well. But let me just... Oh, 1 second. What's up, Psychonaut? How are you doing? Welcome to the chat. Let me just read this one real quick, because Psychonaut, I don't recognise your name. And I don't want you to think that I'm being ignorant. I just always fall behind on chat when I'm live, because I try to read as many as I can. Could the spiral be like the Upside Down in Stranger Things? The same copy and paste world of the counties, but it's a twisted version, how the children would see the counties in its time before. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's exactly what it is. It's very, very similar to the Upside Down. In fact, I think the spiral refers to the way you would traverse that particular area as a means to escape from it. And I think that it could be a reference to what's known as the golden ratio. And those of you guys that don't know what the golden ratio is, it's a shape that culminates to a certain point. And if you don't know what it is, Google it. Look it up. But I am going to get back to Step's theory now, because I keep saying I'm gonna and then not. So, full screen. Oh, cool. Yeah, okay. I'm going to get rid of my face. I hope nobody's opposed to that, but you won't be able to see it on screen for those that are hearing impaired. Won't be able to read what's being said here. So it is important to note that the Big Dipper isn't supposed to be pointing in the direction as the one on the map. Yes, we've already read this. Sorry, I'm going to keep scrolling. Next. Oh, that's cool. Transitions. Excellent. Yeah, sorry, I didn't realise that this was so
interactive. The pinpoints can also represent the Ursa Minor, which represents finding someone's true path. Sadistic thoughts from the man in the purple suit, question mark. Maybe. A hot air balloon, I knew it! A hot air balloon can be found rising and sinking. You're right, Gemini, more leading to your theory. Yeah, that's awesome. Well found, Step. That is absolutely dope. I actually spotted that and I wanted to point it out. I'm really glad that you did. The image you have here is actually better than mine. So thank you so much for pointing that out. But yes, more confirmation, or not necessarily confirmation, but more evidence to substantiate the vertex theory, which I wrote earlier this year. Thank you, Step. I appreciate that. That's really cool. Really glad that you pointed that out, because this image is clearer than mine is. Yep, ship's mast as well. We mentioned this yesterday. The carnival takes place on a flying ship, and it's confirmed at 1:12 in the video. And yeah, release date trailer break. Yeah, and I've actually seen this video because Step included me in it. Thank you for doing so, Step. I appreciate that very much. Because in a theory crafting video very much like this one, I mentioned that it takes place on a flying ship, and I use the Sounds of Nightmares to substantiate it, and Step puts those clips together in this video right here, just to mention that and be like, yep, Gemini was right about this, or at least we think Gemini was right about this. Again, nothing is 100% confirmed just yet, and we won't know that until the game comes out and we get to play it and we get to see it in its entirety, and maybe even then it will still be unclear. But yes, I did say that, and thank you for calling it out. Descent to Nowhere theory, not about Mono's backstory. Okay then, interesting. Let's see where you're going with this one. Oh, 1 second. Gemini, will you pre-order Little Nightmares 3? I haven't, because... Yes, Daniel, I have already ordered... I've pre-ordered Little Nightmares 3. I ordered the Spiral Edition because I know that it's going to be quite rare, and I really like the collectibles and stuff like that, so I did order the Spiral Edition of the game for my PC. Mono is known for being friendly, helpful, kind-hearted towards others, seeing how he befriended Six like his description says, yet in the description here he seems very distanced now, as if he'd been betrayed. Dum dum dum! This could mean Mono escaped the tower, and that the time loop, if there is one, broke. Yeah, as is evident here. Source Amazon. I like how you've put your sources in here. Good job putting in your sources here as well. So let me see. Desperate to escape, Hush befriends another prisoner, Mono, who understands this world and thus abandons the girl every chance he gets. Left to fend for herself, Hush must slink through the labyrinthine corridors where monstrosities lurk around every corner. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, you've done a good job here as well. I noticed that you've I see she plans to her life. No. Okay. Marion Guy is also described as having blind resolve, which sounds an awful lot like Otto. Marion also held out a candy to Myra in the trailer, similar to Otto's doing in the Sounds of Nightmares. Yeah, she plans to life on her own terms until she meets a naive officer, Marion Guy, whose blind resolve convinces her to try one last time to make a difference, but in the counties where... And this is that description here. Elsewhere, drug addictive detective Myra Wan. Myra Wan. Interesting. So we have a name for the detective, and I was not aware of it. Thank you, Step. Is exhausted for living in a city where everyone ignores the strange darkness and depravity around them. Interesting. Hush and the detectives seem realities apart. The connection between them is more puzzling and unnerving than even the worst dreams could conjure. I'm glad that this is a 4-part series as well. Apparently they're going to be like monthly releases, so that's going to be dope. Very, very interested to see that. Okay. Let's see. Let's continue, shall we? Oh, now this is an image that I wanted to share with you guys as well. Here are some new leaked screenshots photoshopped. So these I actually saw in the Little Nightmares 3 trailer. I think it was a Japanese trailer I watched. I think it was Asia's Gamescom or something like that, or like the Asia release or something like that. They got to see this. Now, look at this. This right here might be the area, and again, spoiler alert here, because I'm not sure, I don't know. This might be where we actually get rid of the supervisor, because the supervisor has been barricaded out of this room. I'm not sure exactly how or why this room is barricaded. It seems really strange, but she is having none of it. She's broken into the room. She's obviously desperately trying to get to our heroes, Lo and Alone, who are over here, and they seem to be climbing into what looks to be like a press, like a candy press, like hydraulic press or something like that, which they use in candy factories in real life to press liquid molasses into hard candy. I've seen it done in an actual candy factory, because before we knew this was a candy factory, in my first ever theory video, the Candyland theory, I speculated that this was a candy factory, and I was right, and that theory was confirmed, and it was great. But in doing so, in doing my research to substantiate and bring evidence to you guys so that I could say plausibly that it was in fact a candy factory, because nobody knew that back then, I actually got to see one of these things in use. So if she climbs in there, and we operate this thing, or if it happens to be in motion, it doesn't appear to be in the trailer from what I've seen, but if that's in motion, then that could actually spell the end. Let me see. Yeah, more screenshots of this, and yeah, and you can see here, as Step has highlighted really well, look, get a load of this thing. Look at how skeletal and freakish her face looks. What a terrifying creature. Brilliant concept, the supervisor. Absolutely brilliant. Barbara! Yeah, W researcher Step. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get some W's and some eyeballs in the chat for Step and his all-seeing eye. Really well done. Psychonaut says maybe we'll ride a hot air balloon when we reach the top of the Ferris wheel. Maybe not the top of the Ferris wheel, but I do think that if a hot air balloon is going to appear anywhere, it'll probably be around the carnival area, right? It just seems to match the aesthetic, I think. It could be like the final standpoint, because if they're trying to rise higher and higher and higher, it would be really cool if the ship is a carnival that takes place in the air, and then a hot air balloon goes from there. She looks like those fake AI. yeah, she actually does. She's definitely AI come to life, isn't she? See what Step has to say. This seems to be a candy This is not a CCS joke, by the way. Well, I laughed anyway. I see what you were doing. Or a hydraulic press. Yeah, this could be just how we kill Barbara. In the moving shot, the press wasn't moving, but yeah, I didn't think it was, but we may have to flick a lever at the other side to activate the H press. Barbara, you're stuck in the H press again, Barbara. Oh god, I have actually seen it. Don't look this up because it's brutal, but I've seen what a hydraulic press actually does to a human being. It's not nice. Here we get a gameplay shot of the surveillance room that we saw in a few shots in the You're Being Watched trailer. Yes, we did it. We actually got to see this room already in a lot finer detail, but we didn't see Lo and Alone traversing it. And I was interested in that because I did wonder if we were going to get into this room, would we be on the ground? And it appears that we're not on the ground here. It would appear that we're walking over here. Also, whose long johns are these? And why long johns are these? Barbara mentioned, thank you, Steph. Barbara confirmed. Yeah, these screenshots are really good, by the way, Steph. Really, really clear. Really, really bright. Excellent job. Speaking of... that was a really nice transition. I like that. W transition there, Step. Yeah, so this again is what I'm talking about by having a beautifully clear image for us to look at. So this is a good way for us to analyze the DLC. So this is the artwork for the Secrets of the Spiral DLC, which Step has taken the courtesy of brightening up for us, so we can actually now see clearly a lot more of these unique assets that we got kicking around. So we got this spool here. Can I zoom in? It won't let me. No, it won't let me. But we've got this like spool of thread here. Then there's this pin cushion, obviously the pins as well, and then these mannequins, these like artistic dolls that artists and painters or set dressers would use. I think that this, at least what these items represent, could be the side of the area that Alone gets stuck on, or whoever this character is, because there is some speculation that it's 6, and I can understand why, because looking at this, you know, this outline here, it does look rather raincoaty, and we can't see who this character is. It would stand to reason that it's Alone, because it could separate us, but also, here's a thought, guys, here's a thought. Let me just bring my face back up for a second. You can zoom with touchpad. Oh, I don't have a touchpad. I'm on a mouse. I only have a mouse, I'm afraid, and I don't have a touchpad. But I will zoom in with the laptop later on. But I'm not able to do it right now, unless will it let me? Oh yeah, it will actually let me do that. Fair enough, no problem. I can just control zoom it. That's fine, no problem. Ignore me. I'm being an amateur. What was I about to say? Okay, right, guys, bear with me. Think about this. Consider, we see Law here. We can't confirm whether or not this is Alone. It's kind of implied that she is, but maybe not. Now, there are 2 DLCs, and I speculated yesterday that these DLCs are going to separate our heroes. So Law is going to be on this side over here with the lighthouse and the shores, and Alone is going to be trapped on the other side with the backstage area, presumably in the carnival or something like that, where I think that we could have some kind of set dresser or costume designer who would use all of these items, because and that we have that alluded to as well in the Sounds of Nightmares from this here chest. This chest might contain the outfits that Noon mentioned seeing, and a lot of the reasons behind that I talked about in yesterday's stream. But this is the exciting thing that I think is cool. This game focuses primarily on co-op gameplay, right? Primarily on co-op gameplay. Presumably, the DLC does too. But if they're going to separate our characters, how are we going to play co-op in the DLC? Is the DLC going to be strictly single player? Or are they going to have our heroes, Low and Alone, team up with other characters that we haven't seen yet in each of their respective DLC scenarios? Is Alone going to get trapped in the backstage area, and is she going to meet Rusty or somebody like that? You know, or a character that we're familiar with. Maybe she meets Mono. Who knows? And I doubt it, but I'm not sure. And then we have Law here, and Law is going to be trapped on the side with the ocean. And maybe, just maybe, a ship comes onto shore at the lighthouse. Maybe we start here, the lighthouse draws in a ship, and from that ship comes Six. Six gets off the ship having escaped the Maw, and she runs into Law, and they team up for the shore DLC. Would that be cool? And does anyone think that's even remotely possible? I think it's a shot in the dark, and I might just be coping. But how cool would that be? Do you guys think that is a possibility? Do you think that's something that could be fun? Or do you guys think it should, like, shut up Gemini, just leave it alone? Is that the pin cushion for the Perfect Lady's Sounds of Nightmares? Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was thinking, Runaway Cobra. It definitely could be. F. Yeah, F for me. F in chat for me. Steph did such a good call. Yeah, Steph did definitely do a very good job with this. Lol, he said, but. If we see Six in the game, I'll have cardiac arrest. So will I, honestly. I nearly had a cardiac arrest when they revealed that Six has like a cameo appearance. Well, Dark Six at least has a cameo appearance, because Low and Alone both get Dark Six outfits. Oh no! Oh no! What if they both meet Six, but they get separated, and Low goes off with Six, and Alone goes off with Dark Six? Right, now I'm really stretching, but But yeah, right? Fire theory, definitely a possibility. Yeah. I think it's time. I say the creators confirmed 6 isn't going to appear. Yeah, so the creators did say that. The creators did say not to expect 6. And I definitely agree with Alex the Frog. They said that 6 is not going to appear in this game. And I think it's because they are trying to divert away from 6 being the main character and the poster child of Little Nightmares. I know she always will be, especially to us like OG veteran fans and things like that. We'll always love 6, we'll always associate it with the Nowhere. But Little Nightmares isn't necessarily 6's story. It's the story of the Nowhere. And the expansions that are sort of drawing away from 6's storyline are going to focus on other characters. Notice how 6 isn't the primary character in a lot of the new material. In The Sounds of Nightmares she wasn't. She presumably won't be the main character in The Sounds of Nightmares Season 2. She's not the main character in Little Nightmares 3. She's not the main character in the Descent to Nowhere comics. And she's not the main character in any of the novels, at least the ones that we've been made privy to so far, like The Lonely Ones by E.C. Myers. So I don't think that 6 is going to be a main character. I am just having fun with this and sort of throwing a few things out there. The developers did say, you know, don't really get your hopes up on 6, but it's fun to speculate on. So that's all we're doing. 6 ruins everything. Yeah, imagine that 6 comes between them. The murder Dorito strikes again. No. Yeah, there's a point. I don't see a gnome in this picture. Anyway, moving on. Let me just move my face so that I'm not in the way of Step's display. One of the 2 chapters is confirmed to be called The Shores. I believe this was seen on Steam and then quickly removed again, so also explains the water. Yes, it does. Interesting. The other chapter seems to revolve a lot around clothing, since a pile of cloth threads and needle cushion can be seen here. Yes, they can, absolutely. And we pointed this out in yesterday's stream, but also this is a much better image than the one I was using, and Step's done a much better job of highlighting this stuff here so that you guys will be able to see it a lot more clearer on this screen than you would have been in my stream yesterday. So thank you for that clarification, Step. Very much appreciated. Many needles can be found here as well. Could this mean that we'll be seeing the perfect lady? Yeah, there you go. See, Step was the first one to do this. Many needles can be found here as well. Could this mean that we'll be seeing the perfect lady from the Lonely Way? Absolutely. We definitely could. She could potentially be one of the main enemies. In fact, it seems that we're getting quite a lot of integration from the Sounds of Nightmares episodes, which makes me very, very curious about some of these DLCs and what we could end up seeing throughout them. Hello DC and welcome to the stream. I'm glad you can make it. Sorry if I seem a little bit distant at the moment. I'm just reading a Canva presentation that was made by Step, who is also in chat, that we are currently divulging into, because I said to him that I would check this out, and I didn't get time to in yesterday's stream, so we've dedicated today's stream to doing so. But hello, I didn't want to say, I didn't want to not say hello to you when you came in. If we see Raincoat Girl in this prequel of the prequel of the prequel... Daniel says, Gemini, I don't think 6 would team up with Lo because she's a survivor and knows that others will only slow her down or get her trapped like Mono did. 6 probably kill them if they met. Yeah, she probably would, but she might also use them as a means to an end. Kind of like she did with Mono. Like, she met Mono and she immediately dismissed him. She only let Mono stick around for as long as she was, like, as long as she needed him, basically. And then when he sort of, like... when he became a dry well and ran out of value, she kind of like dismissed him and just moved on emotionlessly. The lighthouse could work as a guide for the guest ships or even the carnival ship. If it was meant for the guest ships, then the shores might just be the outskirts or suburbs of the guest city from the 2017 comics. If that's the case, then the city can get a name too, perhaps the Shores. Yeah, see, I'm not sure if it's called the Shores or not. This is something that Steph mentioned to me on Discord, and I'm interested in. But it could absolutely be. That's this area here, by the way. Definitely worth looking into. Rip. Have you seen the Ferryman's wanted photo? I don't think I have, actually, Gabriel Jones. The name of the second chapter leaked and is named The Backstage. This could mean that we will be seeing the backstage of the abandoned mall. However, because of the amount of clothing related things seen lying about, we could just be seeing the Lonely One's clothing room or the location in which this room was located, since we never got to hear any about the location's entirety. Yes, absolutely agree. We also see a few of the new residents, and I think they look terrifying, genuinely terrifying, and I'm all here for it. They do seem to resemble Paul's reference dolls as well. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, see. Yep, you're right. Absolutely terrifying. But yeah, these do. That's actually what I thought they represented. That's what they look like. I didn't expect that these were enemies though, and now that's got me thinking. Step, what do you guys think? Could these actually be enemies that we see? You know, could these be animate and brought to life, or could they just be set dressings like the ladies' mannequins from the Residence DLC and from the end of Little Nightmares 1? What do you guys think? Time to go broke again, because new Band Presto figures are on their way. I love all of them. I want all of them. I will buy all of them eventually. Because yeah, Step is absolutely right. I love the figurines, as you can tell by, like, you know, my collection behind me and all the Little Nightmares merch I purchase and stuff like that, but it is quite expensive. It's not too bad, you know, as far as like collectibles go and things like that, but it's a lot of money to fork out at any given time, and it's kind of difficult because you can't really buy one and not buy all of them. And I kind of want to buy all of them. You know, I wouldn't... Because even though 6 is my favourite character, if I had to pick one of these to own, I'd buy... Like, if I was only allowed one, I'd just buy 6. But it wouldn't feel right to just buy one. You have to buy them all. But if you buy them all, you're definitely spending, like, $100 or more, probably. It depends how big these guys are. They don't look too big, but I'm not sure. But they look dope. I wonder when they come out. Do you know when they come out? In fact, I'm going to keep skipping it, because you might have already said... Janitor and Monster 6 Band Presto play. Oh my days, I need them in my life. I need. Somebody sacrifice me one of these. Both of these, in fact. Oh my god, they're so cool. Oh, and they can hang from my shelf like Huggy Wuggy. Oh, these are absolutely dope. I love them. Look at them. Look at them. Oh my days. Oh, that is so cool. I'm so happy with this. I'm really, really stoked. Oh, Derive figurine. I'm going to go straight to that website after this stream, and I'm going to see what I can find on this. Band Presto plushies are also on there. Oh, I am so excited for that. Oh my god! Closer look at Barbara's official render. Jesus, that jump scare. Look, guys, get a load of this thing. Good grief. James is crashing out, help! Does not compute. I'm short-circuiting over here. This is wild. What's up, Nix? How you doing? Good to see you in the chat. I see you there. I know, Tiny, you're right. My poor wallet. I can feel the bit. I've got this deep swelling pain in the pit of my bank account. Oh, Jesus wept. Get a load of this thing. Ras. Brutal. What a dope monster. Gemini, is that you? Wendy Bat, why are you still here? Why are you not on my plate? Where are my mods? Why haven't you sacrificed Wendy Bat yet? Done nothing but insult me since they arrived. Oh, your uncle looks at you when he catches you lacking. Yeah, what's up, Unc? Oh my days, Barbara! Bandai Namco Entertainment posted a promo video where 2 dudes play Little Nightmares 3, and a lot is hidden in that 30-second video. Here's my breakdown. That is out now. More pages after this by BT Dubs. I actually watched this video just before the stream, Step, but I'm going to let you guys watch it with me. Oh, wait, right. It won't let me full screen it from here. But yeah, so we got the Lord Alone plushies there. Yeah, we do have a look at the official menu as well. There it is, there's that scene. Oh, look at the way that freak moves. What? Fair. More pages after this, BT dubs. Yeah, no problem. Let's move forward. The windows look a lot like the windows seen in the counties. What if we will see the counties in Little Nightmares 3? Maybe we will actually start off with a cutscene there. How we get sent to the nowhere. Maybe, yeah, maybe we actually get to see them being pulled to the nowhere for the first time. That could be really interesting. If you were to ask me, I think that this building resembles the building in the comics a lot. With the arch and everything. The corner of the building too. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah. Definitely some potential there. Maybe some potential for crossover. Thank you all so much for hopping by and giving us the opportunity to share our findings. A massive round of applause in the chat for Step for that immaculate presentation. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Step. It was absolutely dope. Let me get some eyeballs in the chat for Step. Huge W's for that, because you give us a lot to think about. There was some solid gold in there to come through, and I very, very much appreciate you and your team and your community coming through for us and letting us experience that together. It was absolutely worth going live again today just to come through that with you guys. What do we think, guys? Is Step onto anything? Gets a recognition in the building. Well done, Step. Congratulations, my brother. That was very, very good. We had some really cool thoughts there. Very, very thought-inspiring as well. Yes, W's in the chat. Look at that. A lot of love for Step in the chat right now. And for Bookworm as well, because Idiotic Bookworm was a part of this team. Ugh. And I like to think I was also part of this team, so a big round of applause for Gemini as well. Let me get some eyeballs in the... In fact, let me get some biceps in the chat for Gym Shirt Gemini. I'm so late, I had to go to church. Don't worry, Kip, it's alright. We all have lives outside of YouTube, and I totally understand. I never expect anybody to prioritise anything over their lives. I never expect anyone to prioritise coming and watching my loud face talking about Little Nightmares over what they have going on in their actual lives. But I'm sorry you weren't able to make it sooner, because we will be closing out relatively soon. But I'm glad you can make it for the moment. And feel free to watch the VOD, because this has been cool. Yeah, W's for Bookworm. Yvette Goddard is in the chat. Okay, guys, just real quick. Yvette Goddard says... What did she say? Where did she go? There. Just popped in to say hello and thank you for all your best wishes. Okay, guys, let me just full screen for a second, because this is important. Guys. There you go. I'll move chat so that I can see. Just so you know, and the reason I've sort of like frozen solid and stopped here dead at the moment is because Yvette Goddard is my mum. That's Mama Gem. That's Mama Gemini in real life. In real time, my mother is in the chat right now. And she wanted to come in. So you guys will remember, Mama did say thank you. I thanked everybody for the generous donations and the cat, because I went to see my mum earlier, guys. By the way, like I said, I went to spend this afternoon with my mum. Went round, had a coffee. It was lovely, had a nice discussion. And I gave her the money that you guys donated, because we got some really kind and generous donations from people last stream, in order to help my mum, who's currently experiencing cancer treatment. She's recently just had oncology appointment and everything. She's undergoing chemotherapy and immunotherapy and things like that. And while I'm not asking you guys to pay for the treatment, because we couldn't possibly, but we don't have to. I live in the UK and our taxes pay for the NHS, which means the treatment that she needs is free. However, she is required to travel to the hospital, because the hospitals here don't have the facilities, so she has to travel to and from alternative hospitals in other towns and sometimes stay in hotels. And that's not free. And it's not cheap either. And my mum, as you might imagine, cannot work. So I have dedicated all donations that go towards my streams to that cause. So any money that you guys donate to me is actually going to my mum. So when I give it to my mum's a very generous person. She's like, no, I can't take that. Mum, it's for you. Like, the money is literally for you. I have to prove it to her. I bring up the chat and I show her, I'm like, this person sent this much and this is the kind words they said. And, I let my mum know that there is a lot of love given for my mum in the chat. And so, yeah, you guys feel free to say hello to my mum. I'm glad you'll be watching this later on, Kip. Oh, thank you. Ah, look, there you go. Lovely little donation in there as well. Let me. Why won't it let me love heart that? Well, that's not fair, but a big W for Ramea XL for a donation in there for my mum as well. Thank you so much. That's really kind straight away. This stream helped me feel better. Can't wait for all new lot. I'm glad it helped you, Runaway Cobra. That's the idea of doing these streams, is because I want to spread some positivity, have some fun, and just enjoy being with and being a part of the community. It's really nice. Saya, what's happening? Don't understand. Don't worry, it's because my mum popped into the chat, and it's sort of like, it's always jarring when my mum pops into the chat. I love my mum very much, so it's really inspiring when I see her pop up and say hello. Especially considering I show her the messages, like I show her the nice things that you guys say about her. It's one thing to go and say, there's a lot of love for you in my community, ma, but it's another thing to actually see it. There, she says hello. Hello all, hope you're all well today. She also types with one finger, so don't expect responses from my mum. She's not like me. She's not going to be able to like keep up with chat. She'll literally be like H-O, and then she'll turn to my dad and she'll be like, where's P? Where's Mama Gem? Yeah, like Mama Gem. Andrew Good Guy said Mama Gem, Mama Gem, Mama Gem, Mama Gem. There's a lot of Mama Gems in there. Hi Gem's mum. Hi Mama Gem. Hi, Mother Gem. Hello, Miss Goddard. Oh, hi, Mama Gem. Get well soon. Hi there, hello. All the love for Gemini's mum. W Mum Gem. Thank you, Ramea. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for your generous donation. I really, really appreciate that. It's very, very kind of you. Can't donate, but hope Mama Gem gets better. Hey, don't worry, that's okay. Also, this isn't some kind of like plea deal or anything. It's not like, you feel bad for me because of this terrible situation. Everyone's going through something. Everyone is experiencing some kind of negativity, and throwing money at any given situation doesn't help. I'm just saying that I want people to recognise how much donations mean to me. They're not the be-all and end-all. I don't expect anyone to donate, especially if it sets you back. If it's something that hurts you financially, to donate, don't do it. But when people can afford to, and they make a point of spending their hard-earned money to help my mum, that is a huge wholesome boost for me and my faith in humanity. I don't want anyone to feel obligated to make donations. I just want you to know where it's going. I don't want you to think that you're just lining my pockets so that I can buy more state-of-the-art equipment for my office and more Little Nightmares displays and things like that. No, like when I get super chats and things like that on this stream, the reason I mention my mum and I talk about her isn't because it's some kind of sob story that I want everyone to feel sorry for me and my terrible situation, because everyone's going through something. The reason I talk about it is because I want you to know where the money's going and what it's doing, and actually you get to see the person who this is going towards. It's positive for that reason. So a lot of love for that. Thank you so much, guys, for all of your kind words and all of your support in what is a genuinely trying time for my family. It is difficult, but my mum is tough as old boots. You know, she will wear a smile throughout the whole thing, and I'm very, very proud of her. We should nickname her the Gem Mother. Yeah, absolutely. Sending love to Mama Gem, get better so yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you all so much. A lot of love for my mum in chat. Maybe we can use the hot air balloon to escape the circus, but then we crash into the necropolis. Yeah, exactly. You know, I was thinking something similar to that, Gabriel, but the hot air balloon I don't think is what crashes into the necropolis. I think the ship itself crashes into the necropolis. The hot air balloon I think has some significance because if you've ever played the mobile game Very Little Nightmares, the character in that, the main character we play as, who is not 6 but looks like her, the girl in the yellow raincoat, she lands on the nest by crashing into it, and she crashes into it because she loses control of a hot air balloon. And I think this character is somehow tied to the Sounds of Nightmares. I think the girl in the yellow raincoat is Cece, Otto's sister, and I think that she was trying to find a way out of the nowhere, and I think she's the girl in the yellow raincoat. And I think that's and I think Step actually pointed out in this, highlighted a picture of it in there as well. And also I've lost chat again, forgive me 2 seconds, there we go. ANH, I wish I could donate and send you Mama Gemma. Yeah, no, absolutely fine. And just your love and prayers is enough, honestly, because the money is wonderful and it definitely does help, but it only goes so far. What we need is luck. We need luck and love and support, and you guys have got that in abundance. I don't want anyone to feel like they're not helping me because they can't donate. Not everyone can. Trust me, if I was in a position financially where I could help and I could just say, yeah, don't worry about it, Ma, I've got this, and just give her a big wedge of money. Nobody is in that position. I mean, if I've got any multi-millionaires in chat that want to change my life, then feel free, go ahead to do so. But literally each and every donation, large or small, or even if it's a non-financial one, even if it's just putting love hearts in the chat and saying something kind to my mum, that is enough, because I show her these. I mean, she's reading them as we speak, presumably, but even if she's not able to, because she might have this stream up on the TV or something like that, I will show her. Because whenever I get donations, I go to the bank, I withdraw the money, I give it straight to my mum, and then I show her who sent it, so that she can read it and see it like that. So yeah, absolutely. Like mother, like son. Thank you, Bookworm. That means a lot, because my mum is an inspiration for everything positive about me. Have to go as of now. Bye, everyone. See you later, D-Slon. Thank you so much for stopping into the chat. I really appreciate you being here and interacting with us. I am going to call it a night myself before too long. We are closing in on the 2-hour period right now. And I did say that I was going to give my friend a quick call before I have to go back to work tonight. So, I'm not gonna be here too much longer, but yeah, I'm just gonna finish up with reading your comments and interacting with you guys, and chilling out for the rest of the stream. Kip, I think too, because Noon found a raincoat in the chest and auto-reacted. Yes, he did, absolutely. Kip is 100% right. That was definitely an interesting tidbit that was in the Sounds of Nightmares. When Noon mentioned she found a yellow raincoat, Otto was like up in arms, like, oh, yellow? Where? Was there anyone else there? You know, and that sort of insinuates that he has a familiarity with that particular article of clothing. And it's like, well, why? Why would he be so interested in that? And I know why they mentioned it, and I know why, as a creative choice, it was put in there. But what's its connection to Otto? And that's sort of that. And if you guys want to see me speculate further on that, go to my channel and look up the flashlight theory, because I expand on this quite considerably in that theory video, and it's been a long time since then. Is Mama Gem a Little Nightmares fan? She's actually not. No, Mama Gem doesn't really know anything about Little Nightmares. She just knows that I love it. So she'd probably recognise it. You know, if you showed her the game out, if you showed her a picture of 6, she'd probably know what it was. But she's never played the games or anything. Plasmatic. I'm sorry I'm late, Son of New Superman. How was it, Plasmatic? And don't worry about being late, it's absolutely fine. You can always tune into the VOD. You contributed plenty yesterday anyway, Plasmatic, so don't worry about being late to one of my streams. But how was the new Superman movie? Was it any good? Literally a gem, mother. Yeah, exactly, right? Always assumed the Necropolis was the first chapter. Yeah, everybody did, and I think I did as well, and it still might be. I speculated yesterday that we could potentially start in the Necropolis and then make our way through, the candy factory, and then end up on the ship, and then fly the ship, and then the ship crashes, and it crashes back into the Necropolis. Or we end up back there. And maybe that's why we get a day-night cycle, because half of the game, or the beginning of the game, we're in the Necropolis in the daytime. But then towards the end of the game, we're in the Necropolis at night. And we've, throughout the stages of that, we've done that. But I don't know. Anyway, I haven't thought too much about the timeline. I was just sort of spitballing theory ideas, so I thought it was interesting to consider. But yeah, absolutely. 6 wasn't the first owner of the raincoat, so it has to be RCG. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Random question, but are you Romanian? Oh, sorry, no, that wasn't directed at me. Oh, Alex the Frog, you're Romanian as well. Interesting, I didn't realise. You guys have got extremely good English. I don't speak a word of Romanian. In fact, the only Romanian word I know is opt, which is the Romanian word for the number 8. And that's because one of the guys who I was training with at the gym a couple of years ago was a Romanian guy. But he spoke flawless English, and he always spoke English to me. But one day he was counting reps So I was doing like I had the weights and I was lifting weights like that. 1, 2, 3. He was counting, but he was counting in Romanian. Sorry, no, he was counting in English. He said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, opt. And I was like, oh, it sort of threw me off a bit. I was like, opt. And he was like, oh, sorry, that's a Romanian word, but he couldn't remember the English word for the number 8. So he said opt. And I was like, oh, cool. I know another Romanian word, curva. Curva. And I know that a lot of places use curva. But I shouldn't really say that while I'm live either. And you Romanian guys know why. So does anyone with any kind of like Polish background too. Well, it's possible CC to be the Very Little Nightmares protagonist. It is kind of unlikely for them to reference a character from a mobile game. Yes, I agree with that. I do think that she might have some kind of significance to the storyline, and I think she may get some kind of cameo or some link or something that references her. But she definitely won't be a. I don't think she'll be like a main staple or a plot point. I think they might just tie in something as like background information just to make us think a little bit more. Gemal, to mute a small YTP I did. You can probably watch it on the stream. Be careful, since well, it's a YTP. I might do, well actually Step, I'll say that I'll watch it on the next one if because I don't want to log into Discord while I'm live, because it's just there's too much potential to dox me, so I don't want to log back into Discord while I'm live, but I will check it out, I promise you. What if the spaceship on the side is like the safety ship we... Yeah, what if it's like a lifeboat of some description? Gemini, do you think Bandai is milking the franchise? Because, and other people are saying this after all the project and additions of Little Nightmares. Remember to rate my profile. Oh, yeah, 1 second. Let me just rate the profile picture. If I go to your channel... Dope. It actually looks like, I'll tell you what it looks like, Daniel, because I don't know who this character is in your profile picture, but it reminds me of a character called Clono. And I'm not sure if you know who Clono is, and neither do I, honestly, but it's a video game I used to play when I was a kid, and Clono is like an anime cat with like big ears, and he had like a very similar art style to the character in your profile picture. I'm not sure who that is, but it's a dope picture all the same. I've lost chat. Where have you gone? Ah, there you are. Hi. And also, as far as milking the franchise goes, not necessarily. I mean, I think what they're doing is they're trying to cover all the bases by accessing like all forms of media. So you could call it milking the franchise, but honestly, if I had an IP that's as popular as Little Nightmares with so much diversity and so much nuance to it, I would want to milk it too. Like, I'm a theorist. I've built my entire channel over the last 2 years based entirely on this franchise and each and every aspect of it. So yeah, you could argue that they're milking the franchise, but I also feel like every franchise ever is milking in some, to some extent, because presumably you make money out of having a franchise. Like, they're milking Star Wars by making new ones, but why wouldn't they? They're milking Resident Evil by making new ones, but why wouldn't they? It's like, well, yeah, they're milking Little Nightmares, but why wouldn't they? There's so much potential in it, and it's not like we don't want it either. Like, trust me, if I had access to the cow that milks Little Nightmares news, I would be constantly, like, it would be... I don't want to say that live either, but that poor cow. When they very first revealed the main locations, I thought it could go Necropolis Carnival Factory. I don't know why, but it felt like that to me at the time as well, and I'm not sure, but I feel like we will be privy to that before long. How many weeks until we get the release of Little Nightmares 3? I'm not sure how many weeks it is, but I know it's 88 days. So it's like 12 weeks-ish. 12, 13 weeks. Couldn't do the math real quick. Jem, do you think that the Little Nightmares stop motion project is going to be a TV show of some sort? Yes, I do. Now, I don't think it's going to be like a full feature-length movie like Coraline was. I do think it's going to be more like a series, similar to The Sounds of Nightmares, like, a series of short episodes or something like that. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work. but I do think there is potential for it to be a series rather than a movie. Opt fits 8 so well. Like, 8 is def and opt. If Bandai was milking the series Little Nightmares 2, we'd already... No, I disagree, Countercurse, because they wanted it out. They wanted it out already. No, in fact, I'm wrong. I don't disagree with you, Countercurse, because I do think they are milking the franchise, but I agree that they should, and I want them to. But milking, I don't think milking is the right term. I just think that they wanted to, obviously, they wanted to bring it out last year. But on account of a couple of difficulties they faced in-house, they weren't able to. And the product that we're getting now is arguably better than the product we would have got in 2024. Well, it's not even arguably, it's certainly better than what we would have got in 2024. I say, yes, they are milking the franchise, but I would openly invite them to as a huge fan, as I'm sure a lot of you guys would as well. Presumably. Right, just read the last couple of these. For those wondering what kurva means, it is that in Romanian. Thank you, Alex, for the clarification. Okay, Gemini, more information on why Marion Guy is sus. The name Marion means star or drop of the sea. I believe that he is either Otto or someone like him, or maybe even the ferryman in disguise. Could be. Or it could be whatever feeds the spectrum's other end. Marto! If expanding the Little Nightmares universe is milking, then it's the greatest possible thing because of the universe. Yes, absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Saya says, my friend got a theory that Marion Guy is the son of Otto. Well, he could be. We don't know, Saya. We're not sure, but that's absolutely plausible. If they recast Otto and make the Sounds of Nightmares Season 2 pay to watch, I'll be done. Yeah, I don't think they'll do that, because Kester Lovelace, who was the voice actor for Otto in that, was iconic. And I think that we as a community have come to expect Kester Lovelace in it. And also I had the privilege of speaking to Mr. Lovelace regarding his performance and everything, and he shut me all the way down when I asked for information about it, which means he signed an NDA. And if he signed an NDA that he's still stuck to even after the franchise has been released, then that means that he probably has more in the works with regard to working with Bandai and the Sounds of Nightmares IP as a whole. So yeah, potentially. Jem is ahead of chat. This is supposed to stay a myth. He's a clone. Yeah, he's a clone. Gemini is a clone, confirmed. Do you think there was originally a sitcom dimension planned in Little Nightmares 2? Yeah, there could have been, actually. Absolutely. Teen Mono, I definitely think that is something that was explored as a concept when they were thinking more about the inclusion of television and media for Little Nightmares 2. I definitely think that was a strong contender for an area that we were going to visit, but it was either cut or just unexplored as far as the Pale City goes. Not a long stream, we're 2 hours in. Yeah, I know, Counter Curse, you're absolutely right. And to be fair, I am going to call it here because we've done what I said that we wanted to do. There is more to come through as far as the showcase event goes, and I might even go live more than once. I've already been live more than once. I might go live again in July if it's something that you guys would like to see. And failing that, I will of course be going live to address whatever we get, if we get anything at Gamescom. I know that Little Nightmares 3 is already confirmed for Gamescom 2025 in August, so I will be covering that, as I'm sure Just Jord will as well. I'm not holding my breath for anything special. I hope we would get a trailer, and if they were going to release it at any time, Gamescom would be an ideal time to do it, and it would make sense, especially given what they did with the Little Nightmares 2 gameplay demo. Sorry if I said trailer, I meant demo. But yeah, they did a similar thing with the Little Nightmares 2 demo where they made it playable a couple of months before the actual release of the game. So it would stand to reason if that's what they're going to do, if they're saving one more little surprise for us. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm very, very interested. Sire, do you know the Little Nightmares YouTuber, the Overman? Yes, I do. I've actually worked with the Overman. Well, not necessarily worked with, but the Overman made some artwork for me, which is featured in some of my earlier videos. I think the Overman is an incredibly talented Little Nightmares creator and is absolutely up and coming. I really, really like his content. In fact, I maintain to this day that the Overman has the single best Hanging Man theory on the internet. Like, if you guys are interested in the in any theories surrounding the Hanging Man from Little Nightmares 1, I think the Overman nailed it. And I would cover that subject, and I would love to cover that subject, and it's something that I definitely like to look into, but I just, hands down, you know, like, every tongue must confess, I couldn't do it better than the Overman did. The Overman nailed that theory. The Hanging Man theory by the Overman was the best Hanging Man theory on YouTube that I've ever seen. Absolutely incredible. Huge shout out for the Overman, because he's absolutely wild. Very, very admirable. And his artwork is phenomenal as well. He does a lot of very, very creative stuff. You guys should definitely check him out. Yeah, Nikki Gibbs, I totally agree. Absolutely. Hopefully a demo. The Evil, yes. Hello and welcome, by the way, The Evil. This is the first time I've seen your name pop up just now. I didn't want to not say hi, but hello. Just uploaded something funny on a Little Nightmares subreddit. Fair enough. I might have to have a little look into that. Nico from the video game One Shot. It's a very good game and I highly recommend you play it. I might do. I might well do. Alright then, guys. That is going to do it for today, because I am out of time. Like I said, I did say it wasn't going to be a very long one. I am tired, I am hungry, and I have work to do. So thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. Counter Curse, your profile picture is a straight 11 out of 10. Absolutely wild artwork. It is mad detailed. Crazy. I want to see some theories on what your profile picture represents. This is once again out of context. Well, Mono Story will continue. So do I, Gabriel VR, and we are going to get an expansion on Mono Story in September when the Sounds of Nightmares, the Descent to Nowhere comics release. Wait, sorry, not September. June, I believe. June. I'm going to have to double check. Don't quote me on that. But they are available to pre-order on Amazon at the moment. I've already got my copies in the mail. Well, not in the mail, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm jabbering because I'm tired and I'm closing out and I don't want to be rude and just disappear. So, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Massive shout out to Step, Idiotic Bookworm and the rest of their community for this brilliant live stream, because most of what we've covered in here has been to do with the Canva presentation that Step so kindly put together for us. So, massive W, some eyeballs in the chat for Step. Let's go some biceps in there for Idiotic Bookworm. And thank you all so much for watching. But that's going to do it for this time. Appreciate you all very much. And until next time, that's game over.